Be happy. Be healthy. Be your best.
So I'm going to talk to you in this podcast about something that has become kind of a buzzword in the alternative health world in the last couple of years, and that's colostrum. A lot of people know, if they've been associated with breastfeeding, that colostrum is a mother's milk that comes in the first few days and has incredible immune boosting qualities and different things that help the baby and really set down a good foundation for a baby if a mom is breastfeeding just those first few days, and then it changes to the regular breast milk. However, in the alternative health world, there is colostrum that is done from cows, and there are definite guidelines that are needed for you to know in order for you to be getting a colostrum that has a major benefit for your immune system and what your body needs. And it's definitely worth considering, because colostrum can have a major effect on your health and the boosting of your immune system, as well as other things in the body that benefit from colostrum as well. Now, the reason I'm going to do this particular podcast is because there's a lot of them out there. And in doing research about it, I found that there really is a lot to think about as far as knowing that you're getting a real quality one. In fact, at the end of the podcast, I'll have a link where you can go to a company that offers a free quiz on whether you are a good candidate for a colostrum supplement. And I am in no way monetized by them. I just found that they were the company that had the actual best reputation and best practices when it came to making sure that you got a colostrum that was 100% plus beneficial for your body. And you'll see why by the end of the podcast. So colostrum can come in capsules or it can come in powder form. I prefer the powder form. And you'll find that that is really the best way to take it, just because of absorption and the body's being able to use it in a way that is the best for your body. But there are a number of factors. And the first one is that many current powders that are on the market that are colostrum are subjected to high heat. And they do high heat in different steps to make them easy to mix. Okay, now they want it to mix easily into liquids. And the final product that they have just stirs right in with a spoon. And I thought, well, that's what a lot of companies try to do with a lot of things, with protein powders, whatever. So what's the deal with the colostrum? Under that high heat process, what happens is the proteins in the colostrum, they unfold, they break apart, and they lose their biological activity. And that produces a product that literally is basically dry milk. Okay. It doesn't have the properties of the colostrum that you want to benefit your body. It actually is no longer colostrum. So right from the get-go with point one, if you're getting a colostrum, which colostrum is never inexpensive, if you're getting a colostrum, and the very first process they're putting it through is making it where it's just like powdered dry milk, that right there is a real negative hit for your body, your immune system, and your pocketbook. You're basically spending a high amount of money for something that has none of the benefit that it's advertised for, or minimal benefit at best. So another thing that can be done is a lot of the current colostrum powders are done what's called defatted. And it's a process that removes the natural fat layer that's on the colostrum, and that makes it whiter, it makes it smoother, it also makes it easier to mix. But this convenience comes with a really major setback and a defect, actually. And it's that it strips away the delivery system and the protective structures that make the colostrum powerful. So right there, we're going back to kind of what we saw with the first point as far as the high heat. Well, the process that makes it where it's whiter and smoother does the same thing. So the fat particles, the particulates that are in colostrum, they carry things like a growth factor, immune supporting properties, a very important membrane that keeps it where it then in your system becomes very beneficial to your body because of what's packed within that membrane. So that's point two. So when that fat is removed, the nutrients that are either left just lost entirely, or the result is something that is fractionated and overprocessed isolate. It's not true colostrum again. And that's what you're paying for. And that's what you really need the benefit from. So whole colostrum is a complete system. Okay, it's not a single ingredient. Incomplete defatted colostrum is the equal to broken down damaged colostrum. Complete colostrum is the way that nature designed it. And then when those processes are done to it, it becomes incomplete. It becomes something that does not benefit the body the way that you're hoping for. So also most colostrum products in the market, they do not undergo testing that's needed. There are particular testings, very rigid testings that can be done to confirm purity and biological activity. And leaving you, if they don't do that, then they're actually leaving you guessing about what's really in the tub that you buy of the colostrum. If you don't know if it's pure, if there's additives, and if you don't know if there's any biological activity, to put it on a comparable platform. Think about in the years past where you have probiotics and prebiotics, and they list whether or not they have different strains, and they list whether or not they're active. Okay. Well, it's the same thing with colostrum. You want that colostrum to have everything in it and have it be where it's biologically active. So most companies don't have the testing done that shows whether or not that's really the case. So real colostrum in its nature-made form, it requires specific assays. Those assays verify whether it's real, whether it's active, whether it's free from contamination, and many brands simply do not do it. It's an expensive thing to do. So you're left with the question, is it even colostrum? Without proper testing, you simply won't know. And so potential contaminants go unchecked. You can have heavy metals in colostrum. You can have pesticides. You can have herbicides like Roundup. And you can have microplastics. These things can slip through when there's no rigid testing done. And so that can make a big difference on whether or not you're getting a quality colostrum. So why does it matter? If the product isn't tested, the bottom line is it might not even be colostrum in any way, shape, or form. Purity and bioactivity aren't marketing terms. They're measurable. They're something that you have the right to know about what's in a product that you are buying to see if it is worth the money that you are spending and if it's actually going to benefit your health. So if the colostrum is not a real thing, then it won't live up to the promise that you're being given, is being sold to you, and you will pay top dollar, because really good colostrum is not inexpensive, and what you will be getting is dry milk. So our goal is to give you the information that you need in order to spend your funds wisely for the best nutritional support that you can get. So you can click below on the link that is shown here as far as the company that has a lot of the research on colostrum and actually is one that does all the testing and has it where their colostrum is done in the fashion that makes it where you 100% are getting the colostrum that is in the very first few days and does not have the processing that harms it that we spoke about previously. And then here you have 3 questions if you do have colostrum at this point that you want to ask your supplier as far as the quality of the colostrum that you may already have to see whether you should keep it or in fact you might only be having a tub of very expensive dry milk. So go ahead and click on the link. You'll have a really good quiz that you can take to see if colostrum is a good supplement for you. And then if you liked this podcast video, please like and subscribe and also take a trip over and check out our website. There's a lot more information there that you'll enjoy.
Be your best. Be happy.